Hi, everybody. This is Chaya Parkoff, licensed clinical social worker. I am an educator at the Jewish Experience in Denver, Colorado. And I would like to share with you a short thought about this week's Parsha. Today is March 10th, 2023. It's my daughter Maya's 26th birthday. Happy birthday, Maya. This is her art back here, by the way. And it is the 17th of Adar, 5783. So this week's Parsha is SISA. And this is the Parsha where Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, goes up to meet with God for 40 days, and he's going to bring down the tablets, and the Jews are waiting for him to come down, and they calculate how many days, 40 days, and they're calculating when he should be coming down, and they miscalculate, and they think he's not coming down. And they get really worried and freaked out, and they build an idol, a golden calf, we call it in English, the Chaya Egel, and they put all sorts of jewelry on it and decorate it so that they can worship it. By the way, just a side note, the women did not participate in the golden calf. They would not give up their jewelry, and hence you think that the women didn't give up their jewelry because they're going to hold on to their jewelry. When it came to building the temple and putting jewelry to decorate, then they were very quick to give their jewelry for that. So, but they just didn't want to participate in idol worship. So, Moses comes down and he sees that they did this, and he gets furious and he destroys the tablets. What I want to focus on is what was the motive of the Jews. They just had the sound and light show. They just had, the Exodus from Egypt, the 10 plagues, and then getting up to the sea and the Egyptians behind them and a sea in front of them, and the sea splits and they're able to go through, and then they go have the whole sound and light show called Har Sinai, right? When they were like, there's a lot going on here. What is going on with the Jews that they have to build an idol with just one, like a fear that Moses isn't going to come down, even though everything else has shown that things will come through? So we can focus on how they shouldn't have done that and it was bad, and the impact was bad, right? The impact was an idol and Moses getting furious with them. But the intention, what was the intention? So I was thinking about how they had such a yearning. Every human being deep down inside them is the fundamental spark of God. We say for Jews, we have a pintele yid, that little tiny pintele yid, even in someone who maybe isn't engaged in their Judaism, right? They're not engaged in it in their everyday life, but there's still that pintele yid. And this is in every human being has the pintele of the spark of God. So when you have that, there is a deep longing for it. And if you think about it, when someone says, in therapy all the time, someone will say to me, I'm just so out of sorts. Well, if you're out of sorts, what's sorts? Sorts is that fundamental knowing that all's well. Oh, I'm just not myself right now. Well, if you're not yourself, what is the self? What is that when we feel just right with the world, when we feel like it's all okay? That is that connection that we have to the Almighty. So when the Jews thought that Moses wasn't going to come down, and maybe things weren't going to pan out, and maybe there was how are they going to be connected to God? That deep yearning is what caused them to build something so that they could express their desire to connect to that essence, that omnipresence that's always here. The problem is, one of those 10 commandments is we don't worship idols. Okay, apparently they didn't get that memo. But their intention was good. So how can we take this into our lives? Very often we see people do things. Very often we do things that don't look so good on the outside. But we have to really understand is when we look inside ourselves and we can give the benefit of the doubt to others, that usually there is some good intention there. the impact is not great, but the intention was good. And usually that intention is to somehow feel okay. What's the best way to feel okay? It's to connect to our Torah and to know that Hashem is always there, that God is always with us, even when we miscalculate and we think he's not. Have a Shabbat Shalom.